What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome for this special edition of What's Up Cuzzo podcast. I am flying solo today. My cuzzo is actually uh traveling, so he's not here. He's handling some business. But I wanted to jump on here and share something that you guys have probably already heard about. But it's something that we talked about, and so I wanted to bring this to you. Shannon Sharpe is out at ESPN, and we've been covering the trial. And actually last week we just talked about how they made it was a settlement, and she got around $20+ million, and she turned in her letter of resignation for OnlyFans. But less than 2 weeks after that, now we see that ESPN makes a decision to fire Shannon Sharpe, to part ways with Shannon Sharpe. And I'll just say this before I move on. This week alone has been crazy. I'm sure you guys heard about Gilbert Arenas. I still need to find out more details about that before we dive into it. One of the Morris twins, he's facing some charges, and the Shannon Sharpe thing. Um, Fellas, I don't want to go into the whole red pill, blue pill stuff, because this is not what this is about. But we got to be more careful. And I came from the standpoint that sometimes it's better to settle because you are potentially going to lose more in the long run, even if you're not guilty, but you're going to lose more in the long run than you would if you settle and start moving forward. We saw that he stepped away from ESPN. We saw that he lost some sponsors, and those are the things that happened. He was actually in line to make $100 million from ESPN, and now that's out the window. I'm not sure how much he was making from these other sponsors, but that's out the window. Very unfortunate. Let me see. Let me see what I have here. Let me share with you guys. Here we go. Here we go. So ESPN parts ways with Shannon Sharpe following settlement of rape lawsuit, sources. So ESPN cut ties with the NFL Hall of Famer and media analyst Shannon Sharpe less than 2 weeks after he settled. I pretty much kind of said that. Um, he settled a lawsuit with his ex-girlfriend, accused him of rape. Sources briefed on decision told the Athletic on Wednesday, which is today. Sharpe has not been on ESPN since April. When the suit was filed, he said at that time he would return to ESPN at the beginning of NFL training camp. ESPN declined to comment. Wow. I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. We know how these things kind of go. And he initially said it was a money grab. Like this wasn't about him doing anything wrong, but this was about somebody gaining some money, because they saw an easy target from their opinion, and they got what they pretty much wanted. And if you look at, it looked as if I don't know. I I I I don't know what to say because from one side, I hear women talk about it and I hear them say, it was definitely a setup. You saw the signs. Her recording conversations. Um, and it's unfortunate that it played out this way. You know, but men out there, especially the guys who have a lot of value, they have a lot of income, they have a lot to lose. Like it's getting tough out here. Like you really have to watch your back, and it could be lonely. You know, just from my standpoint, some people believe different, but you have to really vet these people, and you don't know if they have. At first, it was something else, but now you have to vet them to see and make sure that they're not trying to take you for everything you got or trying to set you up. And it happens, and it's happening more and more and more each day. And this guy Tony Busby, he's been going after a lot of athletes, a lot of entertainers, and that dude is, making some impacts in his bank account. I didn't do the math, but I mean, think about it: $20 million settlement, 20+ million settlement. He gets some of that income. He gets some of that money, from the settlement, and I'm sure it's not going to be, a few 100,000. It's going to be a few million. And what's bad is, it's not just black athletes, but you had, the whole Johnny Depp thing. His wife, he lost all his endorsements. We knew him as Captain Jack Sparrow, and he had a chain of those movies, all gone. Even after, he's found innocent. Shannon Sharpe was in line to make $100 million, gone because of his allegations. And so think about it also. You have these people who are filing suits that are civil, and it makes you question, to Shannon's point, it makes you think money grab, because if this is something that you want me to be punished for because I committed some act against you or some harm, then I'm not saying you can't file a civil suit, but what about the legal issue? Like if you believe it's something, criminal involved, then why not file a criminal suit? So it makes things look a little more awkward. You know what I'm saying? When you don't file a criminal suit, just a civil suit. Did you have enough evidence? Do you think that civil suit was easier to prove, or rather easier for you to win the civil suit, I should say? And it was harder to prove that the criminal aspect of it. But it does shed, it does make it look very, very sketchy. And, unfortunately, how the internet does. The internet does what the internet does. Like I see so many people, Monique told you, Kat told you, and then some people wishing on his downfall. Like I don't get that. You have people on your side, when you're doing great, but as soon as you show your humanity, people want to say that's what you get. It's ridiculous, bro. That's why you have to be careful who you entertain on in this internet thing, man, because as soon as you mess up, people are, I told you he was gonna do that. I told you he wasn't that. And I looked at, actually I watched, his show still because entertaining him and Chad, him when he's interviewing uh people, I enjoy, the way he is, his personality, and I thought that, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know if he was gonna be able to get his job back. But you have to remember, ESPN is owned by Disney, and Disney, you know, goes by a certain creed. But we'll see what happens, man. I saw. I don't know if you noticed, if you guys watch or pay attention, and maybe that this was a plan from the get go, but you saw them having more and more people. I mean, of course, to feel like the spot that he wasn't there, they had let some other people go to prior to that, but they had start trying people out. Now, I mean, but that's three people. So Gil was on there on ESPN there. Uh you had the Morris twins that would show up on ESPN in the morning, and then you had Shannon. So we'll see what direction ESPN decides to go in from this point. We do not know. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else of substance here. Um Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that we need to discuss. We'll just see how this plays out moving forward. See how what direction ESPN decides to go in, and this is another thing too. Actually, that I'll share is this is kind of, I don't know how soon or how far in advance they told Shannon, like if they just told him today or you know a few days ago, a week ago, whatever. But I know his brother actually is going into the Hall of Fame. If I'm not mistaken, this weekend. So just a somber. I mean, I'm sorry, a negative thing to happen on a momentous weekend. But man, shout out to you, Shay Shay. I still rock with you, bro. Uh, I wish you the best. And yeah, let me see this here. So Sharp continues to have his podcast. You talked about that, Club Shay Shay. Um, let's see. Sharp was closing in, like we talked about. Sharp was closing in on $100 million deal for, actually it's for his podcast. Okay, I was mistaken. I thought it was for ESPN. As Front Sports reported at the time, the woman's attorney, Tony Bugsby, announced the lawsuit dismissal in a post on his ex July 18th, but did not specify the details of the settlement. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I'm pleased to announce that, and this is the post that he put up, that we have reached a mutual agreed upon resolution, Bugsby wrote. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Like I said, I still rock with you, Shannon. Uh, shout out to you. I know great things are coming. I mean, we're all human, bro. And I believe that, I'm not saying go out there and just make all the mistakes you can in life, but we're all human. And sometimes we do human things, right? Nobody looks into you guys' lifestyle and see what you guys are doing. This dude, Tony Bugsby, I wonder, what his lifestyle is like. But anyway, man, that is all. Just wanted to hop on here real quick and share with you guys. Please let me know what you think inside of the comments. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to you, Cuzzo. I appreciate you as well, man. Enjoy your trip, man. Peace.